We're in space this week with Dungeon Fog, looking at making a space map. Now, here is a space map that was created by an amazing creator. You can find all of their maps on the community map sharing site. And I'm going to take it and I've applied a filter to it and I want to expand it so it's much bigger space around the space station, and I want to add an airlock to it so that there's somewhere for my team to arrive. So this is a sped up version of what I did, but in truth it took me no more than 15 minutes to modify this gorgeous map to make it look exactly how I wanted it to give it that sort of washed out feeling. And that's just with one filter, by the way. This is all just adding in decoration. And look at that. We've got this beautiful space station drifting out in the middle of cold, dark space, just ready for my players and their characters to have a terrifying deep space adventure. Thanks, Dungeon Fog. Are you a good player or a bad player when it comes to being inclusive of your fellow players? What should you and shouldn't you do? That's what we're talking about today. Yes, hello. My name is Guy and you are watching How to Be a Great GM. Although in this case, it's How to Be a Great Player. Not player. Okay, how to be a good player. Now, before we start, to make sure that this channel knows that you love what I'm doing here and that you want to see more of what we're doing, smash that like button. Seriously, folks, it's a click. Do it now. Just click. Anyway, let's get on with it. What are we talking about? Good and bad, inclusive, non-inclusive. All right, here's an example. See if you can tell which one is the good one and which one is the bad one.
So, we've been journeying together for quite some time, and we're sat around this campfire here with our downtime. Why don't you tell me a little about yourself? Why did you become an adventurer?
Yeah, so what's your attack bonus? Could you tell the difference between a good player and a bad player? Well, it might be tricky. The answer is both of those are kind of okay. Neither one of them is good, neither one of them is bad necessarily. However, the idea of just asking straight up a player their character statistics, that's absolutely fine. We're playing a game here that uses statistics. So why don't we ask what your statistics are? It makes sense to maximize the efficiency of your party. I mean, after all, if you're going to join a sports club and the rest of the sports players are, terrible, you want to know that, right? And if you're going into battle against demons and monsters and aliens, you kind of want to know that the people that have got your back are actually going to be capable of getting your back. On the other hand, if you're trying to build character rapport, and if you're trying to actually build an inclusive narrative where your character and your fellow players' characters are working together in an environment that they normally would engage in other words, if you're trying to make it as real as possible, then the first option, engaging, asking about the character's history, asking about why did they become adventurer, what did they think about the last mission. Those kinds of techniques are much more effective at building a strong, cohesive narrative and a strong, cohesive team. You want everybody to feel as if they're part of the story. And sometimes, well, if there was just no combat, the warrior might not feel as if they're part of the story. It's like, well, I didn't get to hit anything, I didn't get to do anything. All the talkies and the sneaky sneaks did all of their bits and bobs, and I really just kind of tagged along. Well, now here's your opportunity to be an even better player, to be a great player, and to engage that warrior and say, look, I know there wasn't any combat, but did you think the outcome was appropriate? What do you think we should do next? Just little subtle things like that. Beautiful way of making players and subsequently their characters feel more involved in the story. That's the first example. The next one.
So, how do you feel about this quest that we're currently on? What do you think we should do next?
Did anyone keep notes from last week's session? I completely blanked. I've got nothing. Didn't keep any notes. No? Anyone got notes?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
There is an example of a good player and a bad player. The good player, again, asking, investing in the other player characters' thoughts, but at the same time, it is so critical, folks, and I see this in every single party that I play with. Players Just assume that everyone is on track and that everyone knows what the quest is and what the goal is and what the outcome is and what the kind of approach to it is. Now, there are lots and lots and lots of tables that don't have leaders. I understand this. There is no one player going, all right, folks, hang on a moment. You wanted to do this, you wanted to do this, you wanted to do that. Which do we think is the best one? There's no one taking or steering the party, as it were. That's absolutely fine. Not everybody's cut out to be a leader. No judgment there. However, that doesn't mean that just because you're not a leader, you can't run a small little consensus and say, right, what is going on? What do you think is going on? What do you think we should be doing? What do you think we should be doing? What do you think? Oi, 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 yo! What do you think we should be doing? There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe you don't have to be as, rude as that. But you certainly can just ask that question. On the other hand, if you rock up to the table and you've got no notes, you don't know what's going on, you don't care, and you're relying on other people to take the notes for you, why are you playing this game? If you didn't want to take notes, go play a war game, because that will allow you to freaking well not take notes! I'm fine. I swear I'm fine. These videos always just get my goat. I mean, what? Next example. Well, I think we should consider what the consequences will be. I mean, after all, if we remove this individual from power, who's going to take their place? Will there be a civil war? What could we precipitate with this action? Perhaps we should think about it a little bit more, or, heaven forbid, perhaps we should ask someone for their advice. I hit it. Yeah, I hit it a lot. Is it dead? Because I'll hit it until it's dead. I mean, if you can't tell what's good and what's bad there, perhaps you should stop watching this video. I get so frustrated with players who simply charge into a situation. They go, oh, you work for the bad guys, right? You're all dead. Every single one of you dead, 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 dead. Guess what? That's what the bad guys do. That's what the villains do. That's what the people you're here to stop do. Just because they work for an evil organization doesn't automatically mean that they are evil or warranting of death. At the same time, it extends even further. The players who are going, what are the consequences of our actions going to be? Do you know how very seldom I actually hear players ask that question? What are the consequences? They don't. They just go in and do. And you're like, why the hell did you do that? It kind of felt right at the time. Did you think about the global ramifications? No, but you expect the GM to keep track of the global ramifications of your actions so that they can make some kind of cohesive story, and you blame the GM for having incoherent narratives because, well, we assassinated the Queen and nothing happened. Because you freaking assassinated the Queen in the first place, based on a rumour that she might be a lich. You had no evidence whatsoever, but you strode into that Queen's bedchamber and hacked her head off before she had time to go, I think I've been framed. What was the point? Yes, right, fine. A good player asks what are the consequences and thinks about those consequences beforehand, and if they don't know the answer to them, they might actually ask an NPC who may or may not actually know what's going to happen in the future. That is not to say that if you are playing a character who is naturally violent, who does not think about the future, who is reckless, that doesn't mean to say that now you have to stop being reckless. Your character is by default reckless. The player playing the character is not by default reckless. Probably. I mean, unless you are a reckless human being, in which case you shouldn't be watching this video anyway. Go be reckless. Go stick your finger in a plug or whatever it is that you do whilst you're being reckless. In some small, simple way. Just do it, okay? Next.
Is everyone happy with the plan? Does everyone understand the plan? Does everyone know what they need to do in the plan?
Okay. I don't think any of you do. So why don't we start with you? What are you doing? And what is the contingency if something goes wrong? What are you doing then? All right, you understand. Good, here's a gold piece. Good puppy. Right, next, what are you doing? What are you doing? Okay. Go, 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 go. What plan? What plan? Don't need a plan, we're just going. I know. Maybe your entire group are not planners. Maybe none of you want to plan and all of you just want to go, 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 hit it, kill it. That's fine. If that's your group, that's great. Off you go. But if the rest of your group are going, all right, we've got a plan, and you're going, go, 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 rhubarb, 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 then there's a problem. There's a disconnect between you and the rest of your group. In which case, you should probably find a different group if that's really how you like playing a lot. If you don't like thinking or planning or thinking about the situation, find a group that does just go and roll with the punches. Nothing wrong with that at all. If, on the other hand, you do like to plan, there is nothing worse than a player, and I do this, I have done this in the past. The player goes, I've worked out a very cunning plan. It involves an orange, a piece of string, and 13 elephants, preferably blindfolded. And you don't tell the rest of the party what your plan is, or you go, no, I just need you to stand there. You're not involved at all. Then why are you playing a party game? No, the whole idea of a role-playing game is collectively working together. You can only work together if you all know what the plan is, and you only can know what the plan is if you all share. The whole point is when you are including each other and you are working with each other to come up with plans that are going to fail or maybe succeed by some strange miracle, it's so much more rewarding than just charging in looking for rhubarb jam sandwiches. My last point, because I don't think my blood pressure can handle it, to be perfectly honest with you.
So, what did you think of our last adventure? Were you happy with the outcome? Do you think we could have done better? What was the thing that you think we did correctly? What was the thing that you think we did incorrectly? I'd love to know your thoughts.
No, there were no magic items. Didn't get any. This new sword, no, it's, I found it. And the ring, and the cape, and the helmet. Yeah, I don't use a crossbow, but I carry this one because, I found it last adventure, not the one that we were in the chamber now. Nope, didn't find any magic items. Not sharing. They're mine.
They're mine. They're mine.
We need to talk to each other. That's what this whole freaking video is about. Talk to each other. Communication with your fellow players is different from internal communication. If your character wants to be a sneaky, slimy bastard, no offense to bastards out there, but if he wants to be a sneaky, slimy bastard, that's what you're doing in the game. But sitting around the table playing, you're going, well, my super sneaky, slimy bastard has gathered all of the magical items and just won't share them. Does anyone want to fight him on it? Because it'd be quite a fun little fight that we can have. Look at that! That is so beautiful from a role-playing perspective. You've just invited the other players to have their characters confront the rogue or the thief or the whatever, the slimy creature, and call them up on hoarding all the magical items. Beautiful, beautiful role-playing moments just thrown away if you don't realize that what your character is doing is different from what you as the player are doing. People, just be better.
We must be better.
On the other hand, once the adventure is over, there is nothing in any rulebook ever that says you are not allowed to ask your fellow players what they enjoyed about the adventure, what they enjoyed about the outcome, what they enjoyed about the situation, the politics, the way that you handled things. Nothing on this earth stops you from asking that question, except for you not asking that question. It makes for amazing role-playing opportunities. It gives you insight into how you're playing versus how everyone else is playing, and it takes away that fear of you going, well, I don't know if I'm a very good player or not. Guess what? If you ask the question, you're a good player. If you don't ask the question, you don't know, right? So if you ask them that question, you go, well, what did you think about the last quest? And they go, well, there was lots of talking. I didn't really like that. Boom! For you, as the player, you suddenly go, oh my goodness, gosh, what insight into this amazing opportunity for me to roleplay in the next adventure, where I can have my character be consciously aware that the barbarian was bored during politics. So if my character sees that we're heading towards a political situation, I can turn to the barbarian and say, look, I think we're going to have a lot of talking. I need you, or please would you go and investigate in a tavern. Try and get some more information for us. Think of something. Give the player the opportunity for their character to engage with your character, to go off and do the quest, or to refuse to do the quest, in which case that is on them. You have been a great player. You have opportuned them to go and do something else, but they have chosen not to. Now you might think, and you would be wrong.
Look, it's the DM who's got to do that because I'm just a player and I just get here to play, right? I'm a player.
No, it is not the GM's job. Bad player, bad player, bad player. The GM is responsible for a whole bunch of things, and the GMs, I've shouted at them many times. That is their job. They're going to be asking you as the player whether you were having fun or not, and you're going to be ignoring them and saying, no, it was great. Hated it. That's a whole different video. You need to ask your fellow players. You need to engage with your fellow players because you are a great player if you do this. I love making these videos because it gets me all riled up, and then I walk around the house going, and I try and buy a sailing ship and realize that I'm terrified of sailing. Anyway, folks, that is my list of what makes a good player versus a bad player when it comes to inclusing. It's a new word, inclusing, when it comes to including or being inclusive of your fellow players. If you enjoyed this video, you do the like thing. If you didn't enjoy the video, don't do the like thing. They took away that negative thing a while ago, didn't they? I wish they hadn't, actually. Anyway, that's a whole different ballgame. Join us on discord.gg/greatgm, where we can have more of these conversations and debates. There's thousands of folks there having a whale of a time chatting away like crazy. And until next time, if you want to buy any of our books, head on over to www.greatgamemaster.com, where you can find all of the books that we have released, with a new one nearing its release date, and I can't wait for that. But I will share more later on in the course of the months. Until next time, I wish you and you and you and you and you and all of my amazing patrons the happiest of gaming.